My name is Olivia Sterling. I'm 28 years old. 13 years ago, my father looked me in the eye and said, "Get out. I don't need a sick daughter like you." I was 15, soaking wet in a storm with nowhere to go. The reason? My younger sister told a calculated lie that my parents believed without question. 3 hours later, police called them to the hospital. I'd been hit by a car. When Dad walked into that hospital room and saw who was sitting by my bed, his hands wouldn't stop shaking. The woman there was Dr. Eleanor Smith, one of the most respected professors in the state. She'd found me on the side of the road and saved my life. Last month, I stood on stage at my sister's graduation ceremony as the keynote speaker. My parents had no idea I was coming. The invisible daughter I learned early that in our house. Madison's tears were louder than my achievements. When I was 11, I won first place at the regional science fair. I ran home with my blue ribbon, bursting with pride. But Madison walked in crying about a dance mistake, and suddenly my achievement didn't matter. That was the pattern. Madison needed more attention. Madison was sensitive. I learned to celebrate quietly, to need less, to take up less space. By 14, I'd stopped showing my report cards. Straight A's couldn't compete with Madison's B- drama. When I got accepted to a prestigious summer science camp with a full scholarship, Madison cried that it wasn't fair. "Maybe you could skip it this year," Mom said. "Your sister needs you here." I didn't go to the camp. They called it family unity. I learned to be small, quiet, UND, EMAND, I need. The lies begin, the lying started small. Madison would borrow my things, then deny it. When money went missing from Mom's wallet, Madison said she saw me near the purse. I hadn't been. But they believed her. I lost my phone for a month and the next summer's science camp opportunity. "We can't trust you with independence," Mom said. Madison watched from the stairs. When our parents weren't looking, she smiled. The pattern escalated. A broken vase, my fault. Madison's failed test, I should have helped her more. A rumor about Madison cheating, I must have started it. I stopped defending myself. What was the point? They believed her tears over my truth every single time. The storm October, junior year. There was a boy at school named Jake who asked me for chemistry help. That was just homework help. Madison had a massive crush on him. When Jake thanked me at my locker and suggested studying together for the midterm, I saw Madison watching from down the hall. Her face went pale. That Friday night during a severe storm, Madison finally made her move. After dinner, I heard her crying downstairs. "Why do you hate me so much?" She sobbed when I came down. She showed my parents screenshots of messages I supposedly sent, vicious things I'd never say. She claimed I was spreading rumors about her, trying to steal Jake, and that I pushed her on the stairs. She showed them a bruise on her arm. "I never touched you," I said. "You think I'd hurt myself just to frame you?" Madison's eyes went wide with fresh tears. I was desperate. "Yes, because you lie. You've been lying about me for years." Dad's voice went cold and flat. "You're sick. Something's wrong with you. Get out. I don't need a sick daughter like you in this house." It was storming thunder, lightning, flood warnings. I grabbed my jacket and stepped into the rain. Through the window, I saw Madison watching me leave. She wasn't crying anymore. She was smiling. 3 hours later, I walked for miles in that storm. Soaking wet, nowhere to go. The library was closed. My phone died. I was crossing an intersection when headlights came out of nowhere. The impact threw me sideways. My head cracked against the pavement. Everything went white with pain. A woman's voice. "Oh my God. Stay with me? What's your name?" "My parents," I whispered, tasting blood. "They don't want me." "What?" She looked horrified. "They kicked me out. Said I'm sick. Don't want me anymore." I didn't know then that this woman, Dr. Eleanor Smith, would become my mother in every way that mattered. The hospital, when I woke up days later, my parents had visited once. They brought clothes and homework. They stood at the foot of my bed like uncomfortable strangers. "We're glad you're okay," Mom said. Neither apologized. Neither explained. Neither asked if I wanted to come home. Madison didn't come at all. Dr. Smith came every day. She brought books, talked about college, about futures I'd never imagined. When a social worker asked about my options, Eleanor made an offer that changed my life. She could stay with me. Why would you do that? My voice cracked. You don't even know me. Because someone once did it for me when I was 17, Eleanor said softly. You're brilliant, Olivia. Don't let anyone tell you you're sick. Don't let anyone dim that light. I made my decision in that hospital room. I chose different. 13 years later, Eleanor gave me a home, a family, a future. I threw myself into school, graduated summa cum laude, majored in education policy and social justice. By 25. I created the Second Chances Scholarship, a program for students from difficult family situations. Kids who'd been kicked out, neglected, told they didn't belong. By 27, we'd helped 47 students. With over $200,000 in scholarships. Media attention followed. Education journals called. Universities wanted to partner. Then came an invitation to speak at a graduation ceremony. At Riverside State University. Madison's school. That's my sister's university. I told my colleague David. Do you want me to decline? I thought about Madison sitting in her cap and gown, probably bragging about her perfect family. I thought about my parents in the audience, oblivious, still believing they'd made the right choice. What's the theme? I asked. Resilience and educational equity. I accepted. The graduation, the auditorium was packed, hundreds of graduates, families, friends. I stepped onto the stage. President Walsh introduced me as director of the Second Chances Scholarship Program, Miss Olivia Sterling. Polite applause. Then I saw them, Madison in her cap and gown, clapping casually. Then she looked up. Recognition hit. Her hands froze mid-clap. Her mouth opened. No sound came out. Behind her, my parents were still clapping, not yet looking closely. I reached the podium. Good morning. Today, I want to talk about what happens when you lose everything and find yourself anyway. I told my story carefully, without names. The 15-year-old girl told she was broken, thrown out in a storm, hit by a car, saved by a stranger who saw potential where everyone else saw problems. Mom's hand gripped Dad's arm. Madison had gone completely still. That 15-year-old girl was me. The auditorium went silent. Dad stood up halfway. Mom pulled him back, both staring, mouths open. Madison looked like she wanted to disappear. I talked about the scholarship, about Eleanor, about how rejection isn't the end, it's a beginning. Family isn't always biology, I said. Sometimes it's the people who choose you when others walk away. Madison's face crumpled. Her friends whispered, pointed, connected dots. So to the graduating class, your worth is not determined by who stays. It's determined by how you grow after they leave. Standing ovation. Not from everyone. Dad stayed seated, hands over his face. Mom stood mechanically, tears streaming. Madison didn't move. I walked off stage and breathed. Aftermath, my speech went viral. Applications tripled. 3 more universities wanted to partner. Madison's social life crumbled, friends distanced themselves when they learned she'd lied about her sister being dead. Dad showed up at my office 2 weeks later. What can I do? He asked, crying. Nothing, I said. It's too late. Madison sent desperate emails. I was jealous. I planned everything. I'm so sorry, I replied once. I forgive you for my own peace, but I don't want contact. Please respect that. She stopped emailing. Today, 1 year later, the Second Chances Scholarship operates in 10 universities. We've helped 83 students stay in school, stay alive, stay hopeful. I was promoted to senior director. I live with Eleanor, my real mother. Every year on October 15th, I drive past my old house to remember. That girl survived. She survived being called sick, being thrown away, being told she was too broken to love. And she didn't just survive. She thrived. If you're in a storm right now, know this. You can survive it. You can even thrive after adults set your boundaries. Choose your family. Build your purpose. Never let anyone tell you you're too sick, too broken, or too much. You're exactly enough.